cannot be replaced. Is in the role to be child of our parents. Their continuity, it's individual on us. So we have to deal with our inheritance. And the inheritance is personal. That's our real importance in life. We are not important because someone thinks that we are important. We are important because we're worth it as a child of our parents. And that's what matters. Nothing else. If we are someone that have gratitude and worth it with all that we received, so we will have success in life in every and each area. It's a normal consequence. But when we try to be important and to have importance in life without our roots well attached to the soil, then we fail. Then we have to face the normal difficulties that comes. So that's what means gratitude. So the gospel according to Spiritism says that take care of our parents, it's a duty. Take care of what they need, of what they demand. If that demand is possible to be activated, you know. But gratitude is much more than that. Okay? Anything else? Yeah.
Andrei, the question is, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Come on. Show the face.
That's what I wanted to. Okay. All right. So the question is, if you know someone who's going through several problems in their lives, and you kind of identify the fact that, you know, I often use, you said, the problem arises from previous ingratitude towards and issues with family and parents before. But obviously, the individual would not be able to see that because of the situation where someone encounters that. How do you approach that? How do you even bring that issue to someone that is going through some relationship issues now that are likely related to previous relationship with their own parents, for example? How do you approach that? Because I know I'm just my experience sometimes talking to people, even here in Spirit or somewhere else. Like, it's very difficult to relay that message to someone who's going through a problem. So that's what I feel, but I don't know what's your experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a real challenge. So how I do? When I see that someone is facing something that is related to the problems in the relationship with parents, so I sometimes only ask questions about it. Sometimes the questions allow people to get in touch with that connections. So, yeah, you have problems with your neighbor. You have problems with your boss. You have problem with your mother-in-law. Oh, that's interesting. And how is your relationship with your mother? Only this question sometimes is enough. Yeah. Or sometimes, quick tip, like, have you think that this can be a projection of the relationship of with your parents? So, because we are talking about common talks and common helps that we give in our daily lives. You're not talking about therapeutical conversations. So these questions are sometimes we say to the person what we want. Give an example of another person. Oh, I saw someone that was living a situation like you, or something close to this, and it was very interesting because it was a woman that had a fight against many other women, and then she found that the problem was not those women. It was the problem that she had with her mother. She was always demanding from women. She was always expecting the women to be the mother that she wanted to have. It was something interesting. So when you tell a history, when you tell an example, when you say something like that, so you help indirectly, you know? Or someone, if he's a close friend, I think you should look for your relationship with your parents. This can be the root of your problems. Maybe, you know? What else?
I think when you...
Yeah.
No, I give up my question. So I think when you say, okay, so you have a problem with your parents probably, and that's what is causing you to have an issue in your relationship, I think sometimes it's like, it's so broad that you cannot pinpoint and be like, what does my problem with my parents, if I have any, has to do with my problem with my husband or my wife. I think the correlation in there, I think it's very difficult to grasp sometimes. Like, how do you find, like, how do you guide someone to try to find the proper path to understand what this has to do with that, or how to fix either your marriage or to fix your relationship with your parents?
Yeah. We do not guide.
As simple as that.
As simple as that. We just suggest that person to make a psychotherapy. You know? A systemic psychotherapy that can allow that person to make contact with the link between those problems and the previous experience with parents. So this is very important because we have to define the role of our relationships, and we are not therapists for others. We are just friends and so on. And even in the couple, between the couple, we do not act as a therapist for the other. Sometimes you only say, I think that should look for this before, or I should look for something in my life before. And then we give time for ourselves to make contact with that. And then we see if that issue continues or not, because many times it disappears. So for example, when we have a deep demand of attention of our parents or of care that comes from our emotional experience that we had during childhood. So we commonly demand a lot from our partners. So we always demand a lot from those that are beside us. But when we do for ourselves what we need, that means when we give us the care that we need and the care that we expect others to give, so we start to be less demanding. So it's not a problem. It's not something that I have to see the connection. I just feel the fact. You know? That's why we should always look, first of all, for our own problems. and look for what we have to resolve with our parents in our life. If we can deal with that by our own, okay. If we cannot, we look for professionals that can help us. Anything else?
Just a second, I'm So just tagging along on the question. So let's say if now like you said, the case of the woman who's always fighting with this elder. So now there's a problem in here, but then the roots is on the parents. Do you think it's just the fact of going to the roots here and solve this automatically fixes? Or now because they're both damaged, you kind of have to fix both or work on both problems together? Or no, it's just a matter if you fix the root, this guy gets fixed.
When we fix the root, all the branches flourish, blooms. Yeah. When we fix the roots, all the branches blooms.
Okay.
It's natural.
Okay. Makes sense.
Seems so easy.
Yeah, it is. Truly, it is that easy. The problem is that we do not have the
Strength.
no, it's not the strength.
Understanding or tools.
No, it's not the. We do not have the. We are not commonly used to do that. We are used to make things more complex than they really are. So, the essential is simple. The essential is really simple. When you get in touch with the essential, we start to feel another force coming from within. Sometimes things start to change. I have seen that so many times. But we need to go to the root. And to go to the root sometimes it's new for us. Because we haven't faced that yet, because we haven't seen the descriptions on how to do it. So this is something that we have to get in touch, to come closer, to experience. It's not something that it is theoretically. I can say that to you, but you can only feel the value of what I'm telling if you experience. If you go to the root and experience the effect of getting more deep contact with the force that came from our parents. So sometimes we are facing very complex situation, and when we see that there's something that is not healed yet, so we need to stand by that complex situation, go to the root, heal what we need to heal, and then come back and see if the complexity is still there. The vast majority of times it is not. It doesn't mean that has disappeared completely, but sometimes it's reduced for the real problem. You know? So sometimes the problem is we do not have time enough for us as a couple. When we go to the roots and when we strengthen the connection with our own care and all the love that comes from our experience, so we can see that the problem, it was not that someone did not love me or did not give me exactly what I need. It's just a lack of opportunity for us to feed that presence and that love. So we give ourselves what we need. So the result always comes from giving up the demands and the critiques and connecting with gratitude, admiration, and with what is full in every experience. That's where the strength comes from. Gratitude, admiration, and respect. If we have gratitude, admiration, and respect for our parents, the problem's gone. The demands come from critique, from demands, from pity. Whenever we feel pity, we feel superior. If we give up that, looking for what is full, we get in touch with the strength that comes from that experience. And that means change our point of views, because we only heal our emotional experience when we change point of views. And I'm gonna show you what is point of view. Give me a book of homosexuality, please. So, describe for me what is in my hand. A book, yeah, I agree.
Flowers.
Two flowers, which flowers?
Carnations.
Carnations, which color?
Red.
Red, two red carnations.
Yes.
No, there's not two red carnations here. No. No, it's not two red carnations. You cannot see well. It's two white roses. Yes, it is. Two white roses. Can you see?
No.
Yeah?
Just as smart people see it.
No. Only those who see the reality can see that there is only two white roses. That's not red carnations. That's not even carnations here. That's only rose. Can you see red carnations here?
Yes.
Do you use glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah? And they are good?
Yes.
So we can stay here for as long as we want, because this is what we do in our daily lives. We start to discuss, to argue about our opinions. Who is right, who is wrong, what can I see, what I can't see. But you are telling me what you see. I'm telling you what I see. Who is right?
Yes.
Both are right. Who is wrong?
Both.
Both are wrong. So what is the reality here? Is that. So the reality here, yes, we have two red carnations on the cover. We have two white roses on the back. We have one white rose on the side. That is the reality. So what we do when we need to give another meaning to an emotional experience, we give up our strict point of view and we start to look for others' point of view. So when you do that, we change the emotional experience. For example, I remember a guy that was telling me that he was very wounded by his father because his father was never there for him. And I asked him, oh, he was never there? No. And where was him? And he said, he was always traveling. Oh, always traveling, never there for you. Yes. And why he was always traveling? And he said, he worked with travels. Okay, he worked with travels. And tell me, what he was working for? No, for whom he was working for? What was the purpose of his works? And he said, oh, he worked to give us what we need. He received money and supported our family with the money that he received. And I said to him, so he was traveling, working for the family, and giving you what you need. So he was never there for you, and you were wounded by that. Yeah. And have you ever thinking about the solitude that he supported in order to give you a lighter opportunity in life? Have you ever thinking about how he sacrificed himself, accepting to be a part of his family in order to give you the better? And so he was shocked, and he said, no, I have never think about that. And I said to him, so this is the reality. Yes, he was not there for you, but he was not there for you because he was far away, loving you so much that he wanted to give you a different opportunity in life. So that's why now you do not need to work with travels as he did. At that moment, he did that. Oh, there's another side. And when he concluded that there was another side in that history, he changed the emotional experience, the emotional consequences of the experience. And then he changed everything. So that is the resignification. That's how we deal with our emotional wounds. We come closer, we look for others' points of views, because every point of view is the view of one point only. When we see other point of views, when we see others' situations, then we can have different conclusions. And when we see that, we change the emotional reaction that we have in life. Okay? So in this specific case, by giving up the demand that he had from his father, he could come closer to his father. That means that he could come closer to the strength that came from the father and all the masculinity that came from the father. So that changed his life. This changed also his postures on the relationships. This changed how he dealt with profession and so on. By only healing one point. So yes, it is simple. Anything else? Nope? Okay. So, thank you for your attention.
Want to talk about Spiritist without borders?
I think that everyone was here.
Now I have new people.
Really?
I can see new faces here that was not here in the morning. So I think
Yeah?
it would be nice to hear a little bit about
Okay.
again for those who are here in the morning. Pretend without borders.
Okay.
So do you wanna use the video?
Yes.
Or, yes. Okay. I'll get it.
Get tissues.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, I'm gonna talk a little bit about Fraternity Without Borders, which is a non-profit organization that I take part into for 3 years and a half already. And this organization takes care of over 2,000 orphanage children in Mozambique and in Madagascar in Africa. So this started when Andrei Moreira, a very committed spiritist, went to Mozambique to know how he could help there, because he felt in his heart that something can need to be done for Africa. And then he went and he realized that Mozambique has 1 million orphanage children, and 6,000 and 10,000 due to HIV and AIDS, HIV infection and AIDS. So it's a high rate of mortality, and people live in this small village. 80% of the population lives on the village in these small houses, and many families are formed only by children. Can you imagine 24,000 family conducted by children? Only children, without any adult? Yes, there is in Mozambique. A high rate of HIV infection. The water is not good enough to be consumed, so it's full of salt, it's full of dirty, and comes from very superficial wells, when they have wells, because in the border with Mozambique, look for the water. So the woman takes the water in this in this things, but in the border with Madagascar, no, if Zimbabwe, there's a region where there's no rain, and there all the rivers are dry, and in the middle of the dry river they make a hole, and from there comes this kind of water that they use for everything. They drink, they use to take bath, to take shower. They use to clean them, if that can clean. So the food is very restricted, because they have very large pieces of land, but not water supply. So they eat this kind of corn. It's a white corn without nutrients. So they make this preparation that is called shima, and shima has no taste, but they used to eat that with bitter sauce that they produce with some kind of grass that grow on the fields. So it's a very difficult situation. When you come to a house and we ask the people, have you eat? And they say, yes, we ate. That means we ate a little piece of shima, because that's only what they have. So it's a very difficult situation. Some of them do not have even the shima to eat. They only eat a small leaves, small leaves of the trees. We see that many times. This grandma is given some nuts for children, and these nuts are very small ones, and difficult situations to give them food. So look the dog. This is the school, but I used to say that this is not only the school, this is the private school. There's no private school there, but this seems a private school because this is the public school. They are educated in a shadow of a tree, and they learn to write using their hands on the ground. So I don't think I'm gonna show this because it's only in Portuguese.
Okay.
Or should I?
Well, let's
Yeah.
show it. It's a few. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's-
So for people that see us from the web, you can access our internet, our website, and you can see these videos. They are there, and also our channel on YouTube, Fraternity Without Borders.
Should have sound, alright?
Yeah.
Luiz, sai daí, você tá na frente do volume.
Ela diz que é linda, criança, muito com a irmã. Mas tem que não tem mãe, não tem pai, não tem tio. Mana mfuna kukungu, mana munda kuna
Nashukuru upendo utakuzanda utakuitaka.
ela diz que vai fazer o trabalho na machamba para conseguir alimentar-se. Porque olha, mas é muito
Não faz colher, não parece feita.
ele diz que nos dias que vai para a machamba, vai da escola para ganhar 50 meticais de gado. Na faculdade.
Não uma fonte vital.
Aqui em casa só temos arroz, feijão e sal. Muito me coelho com galhão na mão.
Ainda a creche.
Essa comida que nós temos aqui fomos dados pela creche. A nunca me custa com a creche muito.
Nashukuru.
Quando a gente não apanha comida na creche, temos que ir a machamba fazer o trabalho para podermos ganhar 50 meticais de dia. Mas quando eu olho no ambulante,
Ali tu.
o após, diz que o irmão mais velho está lá ficando assim. E cuida dela, e nem liga, não diz nada, nem manda. E papai, afim, ou vai?
Não,
Ah, dói.
não estive então.
Diz que o pai e a mãe morreram quando ela era pequenina e não sabe da doença que levou a morte dos pais. Os pais também morreram, deixaram gado e cabritos, mas o gado, o vinho, os avós levaram. Aqui o que eles têm são cabritos. Tem quantos dias tem um ganador?
11.
Aqui elas duas contam com 11 cabritos, mas esses 11 cabritos que ela tem não tem corda. Quando os cabritos invadem a machamba de dunes, elas são submessas a capinar nas machambas de dunes pela queda dos cabritos feitos. Se houvesse uns titios que quisessem nos ajudar, eu construir uma casa com uma rua, porque quando a ventania chove, as chapas abanam e a chuva entra e elas têm medo.
So when Wagner saw the situation, he came back to Brazil and he started this program that is called Fraternity Without Borders, that builds learning centers on the small village to welcome these orphanage children. So the children spent the half of the day at the learning center, receives food, hygiene, cultural projects through music and education, and the other half of the day they are at school. And nowadays we have been working in Mozambique for 7 years. We have built 25 learning centers and we have 12,000 orphanage children assisted on a daily basis in these learning centers. So all this project comes from sponsorships. Can you imagine that with only $25 you can change the reality of a children in Mozambique or in Madagascar? It's a very easy, it's a small amount. It's very easy to help these children because the dollar rates a lot there, so that's why we can assist these children with only $25 per month. And it's very easy to become a sponsor of this project. We have a lot of sponsors here in Toronto, and if you want to be a sponsor, you only register yourself through our website, fraternitywithoutborders.org, and you'll be part of this family of love without borders. And that's what we want to share with you, and we want to invite you to take part into this project and to be the difference that you want to see in the world. That means to make a difference for someone. We are used to criticize, to judge those that should do it for them, that should give, but we have now the opportunity to be the change that we want to see in the world, and to treat these people as our own family, and to do for them what we want to receive ourselves, or what we would like to receive if we were in that kind of situation. So that's why we are working there to build bridges that connect hearts and affections in order to live the real fraternity. So that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so just to close, I'm going to invite Denise to do the final prayer, and then I have a few announcements at the end.
So let's close our eyes and connect ourselves to the light that is upon us right now. That all the knowledge that Andrei shared with us here today could resonate within ourselves and make us try to work better in our relationships with our parents, with our friends, with God, with ourselves. These relationships, they are the one bringing the lessons so valuable for all of us. Let's not give up of these relationships. Let's work every day more and more. Change a little bit, trying to understand the different point of views of our brothers and sisters, that we could understand that we are together in this path. Jesus brought us so many memorable thoughts and lessons, and sometimes we try to put ourselves away from Him, like He's so away, where actually we need to look to get closer and closer. We need to look to Him and see that He was here for a reason, to inspire us and to prove that we can be able to change ourselves that we can bring this knowledge to our lives, and that we could change not only our lives, but the lives of everybody that comes in our way. There is no chance. We are all here for a reason, and we are in someone else's life for a reason as well. So be it.
All right, just to remind everyone that Andrei is not going yet. He will be here tomorrow with us at 11 a.m. As usual, we have our lectures here. And the topic for tomorrow will be reconciliation with yourself, family, and God. So I hope to see you all here tomorrow again at 11 a.m. All right? Thank you. One more thing. We do have a few books from Andrei that he write or psychographic by him. And in the reception, so feel free to reach out to one of our volunteers. All right? Thank you, everyone.